So today we are going to learn about the strategic market planning in high-tech firms. So this is chapter number 2. This is lecture number 2 of market technology intelligence. Okay, so let's try to understand what is the learning outcome for today. Today we are going to learn about the 4 basic concepts. The first, what is strategic marketing planning. The second one, we will see how competitive advantages can be gained in any organization or any high-tech firm and how they can use it for their marketing purposes, and 4 different types of the marketing strategies and how these marketing strategies can work for any organization. And finally we will learn about the key marketing performance measurement matrices and performance indicators. So this is all learning outcome for today's lecture. But if I conclude this today's lecture in one diagram, you can see this is what we are going to learn today. So first we will try to see, or these are the steps we take during the marketing strategy for high-tech firms. So first we started assessing our own resources and competencies, and then we will go with the key strategic questions about our customers and the value we are going to propose to our customers. So that is the second key question. And the third, we will set or we will select a strategy, what type of strategy is suitable for our organization and how we can use that strategy for our marketing of high-tech products. And once the strategy is being selected, we will see how these strategies are linked with the organizational structure and which structure is suitable for high-tech firm. And once we are done with that, we will see how we can create the matrices for organizational marketing performance measurement. So this is also a marketing called marketing dashboard, or we have marketing matrices. So these are all basically the concept we are going to learn today. So if you see this is where I'm going to start today's lecture, and this is where I'm going to end today's lecture also. So please make sure each of these components you understand them clearly, because you have class activity based on the selection of strategy types and how organizations are using them. So first, again, 5 steps. The first is assessing your competencies and resources, answering the key strategic question about your customer, about your product, and about the value proposition. Select the right strategy, link the strategy with your organizational structure and processes, and finally how to measure the product performance. These are 5 interrelated steps. So let's try to start with the understanding the first thing first, which is first step is assets, resources, and competencies. So organization, they must need to assess their internal capabilities, capacities to take or to use these capabilities or capacities or competencies for competitive advantage. So now these competitive advantages, they can come from your assets or resources or your competency, the core competencies. So this is important. So competitive advantage is something or every organization they must want to attain. They want to differentiate themselves from other competitors, or they can have some added advantage over their customers or over their competitors. So this is where these competitive advantages can be coming. Now first thing is tangible assets. So you can have a lot of tangible assets that bring money or bring revenue for your organization, bring operational excellence to your organization. So tangible assets are like buildings, like your other tangible products or assets, or your for example, we have a factory, for example, we have warehouses, for example, we have offices in different companies or cities or countries. So this is tangible asset. The second is intangible asset, your brand value, your name, your organizational image. All these are intangible assets that is valuable for any organization. If you have good intangible or tangible asset that can create or that can give you a competitive advantage over your competitor. And finally, your competency. This is very important. What are the competencies? Competencies are the skills, are the intellectual people or intellectual capabilities, or the capabilities or capacities which are beyond imitation. The other companies, they cannot replicate them, or you have a specific type of capacities or capabilities, knowledge development. All these can be considered as competencies. For example, if I have a very sophisticated type of manufacturing process that gives my product a very valuable look or added advantages, that is my competency. If we are very good at the digital marketing, we are having this competency of digital marketing. So there are a few areas in which you can create competencies. So this is where you can get competitive advantages over your competitors if you have valuable competencies. Now I will discuss these points in detail. What are the real competencies which basically create value addition for you, and how they are creating value addition? So for the competencies, you have to understand that the core competencies should be superior or it should be sustainable. These two very important things which you should consider while you are considering or assessing your own capabilities or competencies of any organization in high-tech firm. So let's see what are the superior competitive advantage. So what is superiority? How your competencies can be considered superior. Now if you are creating customer value, if you are giving to your customers something which is very much important for them, which have some value for them, that is customer value. So if your competencies are providing something valuable to your customer, it means that they are superior. Okay, so that is superiority test one. The second one is rareness. It means that your competencies or your capabilities which can create customer value, but they are also rare. It is not available for everybody, or it is not everybody or every organization or every competitor can create this type of capabilities easily. So this is rareness. So your capabilities are rare. They are only with you and not other people or organization. They can replicate it easily. Okay, the second one is sustainability. How your competitive advantage can be sustainable, because your capabilities, they are durable. It provides long-term solution and provide replication of your result and provide durable products to your customer or value to your customer. So that is durability. Your capabilities are getting last longer. And the second thing is inimitability, means that it is not imitable. The people cannot easily replicate these specific capabilities. That is why they are sustainable. So means that it should be durable and it should be inimitable at the same time, means that the people cannot replicate that easily. Okay, so you have to limit the replicability of your competitive of your core competencies. That is very important part. So if I just let you know again, the superiority is basically creating the value for customer, and the rareness of your competitive competencies. Okay, the second thing is basically sustainability, which is durability and inimitability of your product or services, or the core competencies. Okay, that is important point. Now core competencies. For the core competencies, be careful. Remember, they should be difficult for customers to imitate or competitors to imitate. They should not create it by their own. Imitate means that easy to replicate. So it should be difficult to replicate. It should be your own competency. Nobody else can develop or manufacture that product as easily as you can, or that specific competency. The second thing is significantly related to the benefits of end user, means that your core competency should create some value for the customer, okay, for the end user. And finally, it should allow you access to new markets, so desperate market, the people who are willing to buy these competencies. Okay, that is very important for any competency. Okay, so now the core competencies, they are rare, they allow you to explore new market, and they are customer specific, means that it is having some benefit for the end user. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we have to reduce the imitability of your product or services, or the core competencies. So that is called inimitability, means that the product or the core competencies which your organization have, the people cannot easily replicate. For that reason, you have to work on three major or important points. The first, you have to decrease the transparency of your uh, process, means that if the process is too much transparent and everyone have all the information, that information can be leaked out, and it is very easy for your competitors to develop these type of the product or services easily. That is why imitability depends on the transparency. The more transparent if your core competencies and information is flowing everywhere in your organization, it is difficult for you to keep that secret with you. So if you want to keep that secret or core competency within your organization, you have to decrease the transparency. Okay, so transparency in order to the flow of information, the flow of your activities. Okay, so you have to keep it in a different part. Nobody can understand the whole picture. That is how we reduce the imitability. Let me give you one example. For example, if you are working in a big car manufacturing industry and you are just working on the paint shop, so you know nothing about the engines, you know nothing about the body, you know nothing about the interior. So you know nothing, because the process have decreased the transparency. So you do what is important for you, nothing else. So you don't have information to develop complete product. So that is why they have decreased the information and transparency in order to keep the product inimitable. Okay, so that is important. The secondly, make it hard to replicate, means that the product or the competencies should be too much complex, the people could not replicate it easily. Either they don't have access to the information, or if they have access to the information but the product is too hard, so not easily can be developed. For example, can you, if you have any plant, even the biggest company in the world, the Toyota and Honda, they cannot replicate Mercedes, because Mercedes have a high-end product, um, and that have the operations which are very difficult to operate. Ferrari, Tesla, all these companies are basically high-end, high-tech product manufacturer, but they have developed their product in a way that it is very difficult for anyone to replicate. So that is the replicability. So you have to reduce or make it hard for people to replicate it. Okay, and then the technology, the competencies, they have this problem, they can be transferred to one to another. So you have to limit the transferability of your product also. So just try to reduce the transferability, means that nobody can transfer the knowledge or the competency, the core competencies of your product to the other organizations. So you have to limit the transferability also. How we can do that? To limit the transferability, make the product in parts. Don't give all information to one person. So all these core competencies, they are scattered, so nobody can understand clearly about everything. So that's why transferability is difficult. And similarly, if you are about the product or manufacturing, you have to create a process or the product manufacturing process so much difficult that, or not easy to transferable or movable from one place to another. That is how you have to limit the transferability of the product. Okay, now this is very important for any organization. High-tech products, if you want to keep your product or core competency with you, make it inimitable. Okay, so make it very difficult for people to replicate or people to create similar competencies. So that is important. Okay, now let's try to understand the comparison between the superiority and sustainability. When you have superior competencies, your competencies are more superior, so you have a lot of things to do with it. You can exploit more and more markets. You can have more customers with you. So superiority and sustainability will give you market or competency exploitation or competency exploration. So what are these? Competency exploration and competency exploitation. So if I talk about the competency exploitation, it means that your skills are more refined. So you try to refine more and more, extend existing product into the new market. So existing competency, try them into the new market, and you can increase the level of innovation through incremental innovation. That is what we learned in the last class. So incremental innovation is adding new feature to the product or services. So you can increase the level of innovation in the product slowly. Okay, so that is how you can exploit existing competencies, increase, enhance, or improve your existing competencies. Or you can advertising and marketing to differentiate offerings. So please, you should clearly understand that exploitation means that how you can exploit the market. For that reason, you have to refine your skill. You have to introduce your new market or your product into the new market, so you can use similar knowledge into the new market or services. Okay, now the next is you can improve your existing skills by utilizing incremental innovation method and develop new features and new uh, I think added advantages for your product or services that allow you to exploit more on your competency, and you can get more and more uh, customers, okay, for you. And then the second one is exploration. Exploration is expanding or finding out new knowledge, finding out new competencies, finding out new value, or you can create new values. So that can be done through the investment in your R&D. So invest in R&D. That's why your people and your organization will bring new skills and knowledge to your organization. That is how you can explore new competencies. Okay, so you can develop new competencies, and also these new types of competencies or the exploration of competencies will allow you to go for radical innovation or breakthrough innovation. You may be able to produce something new to the market. That is also an important part of your exploitation and exploration. Okay, so competencies, if you have developed core competencies, it is time for you to either exploit it, and also at the same time you have to exploit and explore. Okay, so exploration means finding out the new competencies, and exploitation means existing technologies or existing competencies are there. You are trying to enhance, you are trying to improve, you are trying to develop some added feature into the existing core competencies. Okay, so that is how you can be sustainable and you can be durable. Okay, so you have to be superior. Superior means that to remain superior, you have to do exploitation. Don't think if you have developed some core competencies, it will last long forever. No, it is going to be improved. You have to improve it every year, every day, or every time. But at the same time, if you want to be sustainable, you have to explore new and new competencies also. That is called exploration. So exploitation, existing, but just added new feature and or new knowledge. Exploration means that you have to explore new knowledge and go for radical innovation. So this is how our current assets, current competencies, they can help us in order to achieve our desired market. So our core competencies and assets will allow us to explore new market, allow us to develop new products that are valuable for our customers. Okay, now this is again, if I conclude back again, the assets are resources and competencies. They can allow us to be superior and to be sustainable in the market. Okay, for what? For our customer. The second thing is answer to the key strategic questions. So what are these questions? These are very important three questions. Okay, who are our customer? What is our value proposition, means that what we are offering them and how we are going to deliver that value or value proposition to our customers. So how we are going to deliver that values in terms of product or services. So first thing is to identify our customer. Second thing is what type of values we are providing them, and finally how we are going to provide these values. So these key questions need to be answered if you want to do a strategic or if you want to develop a strategy for marketing of high-tech products. Okay, now let me just briefly explain how we can do that. So first thing we should address is who are our customers. Now we can identify our customer by articulating all those needs, told or untold. Articulated or unarticulated needs means that we need to write or we need to create a list or we need to map down the customer's need. Some needs they can tell us, but some needs they cannot articulate. So we have to assess from their behavior, from the market or from the demand. So we have to assess the demands or the customer needs. Okay, and then identify the market, the key market segments. Market segments mean that if you have any core competencies, you have to address where I can sell these competencies or where I can sell these product or services. So you have to identify which market or which is the right segment of market you are referring to. Okay, and avoid excessive focus on serving current customers. Some companies, what they do, they always focusing on the existing customer and they do not expand their market. I am not saying that you should not focus on the existing customer. Yes, we focus on those also, but don't forget to expand your market. So you have to expand your market. You have to find out new customers for your company and for your product also. Don't just focus on what you already have. Always try to grow, always try to find new market. Okay, and then that is where you have to work for both existing and also for the future customer. And also you should bring blue ocean strategies, mean that you should try to develop product on the lowest possible cost that people can offer to buy. Okay, or to offer to afford to purchase. Okay, so this is how blue ocean strategies are working. While you are making competition irrelevant, you can buy or you can develop product based on cost differentiation. Okay, so blue ocean strategy is just to uh, respond to the market demands, and especially with respect to the cost. Okay, now we understand how we can identify our customer based on their requirement, based on the segments, expanding our existing customer brand or existing customers. So if we have 10 or 100 customers, so we have to think of 1,000 customers. We have to explore new market. We have to work for existing and future customer both at the same time. And also we have to work on the product features that are valuable for the customer. Okay, so first by doing these all, you can identify or you can highlight your customers. Okay, now once this is done, so we have to provide value proposition to our customer. Okay, so now this is something we should understand. The value proposition means captures the sense of why customers should purchase your product, what we are proposing to them, what values we are giving to our customer, what new product or feature we are adding to our new product or services. That is very important part of our value proposition. We should consider what values we are giving to our customer. Okay, now if I say what value, it means that the product and services and technologies are mere or simple vehicle for value creation. So if you are giving new technology, new product or new services to your customer, you should highlight, okay, what type of these uh, product, services or technologies values bringing to the customer, what type of values, what is new, why you want to purchase it, how the product are going to serve you. So don't consider your point of view as a manufacturer, you should consider the point of view of your customer. So what values are being provided by these product or services, okay? So you should more focus on the customer side, not your side only. So that's why you should consider the customer requirement first, you should consider their needs first, okay? And you also need to understand your competitors, what type of values your customer have been offered from your competitors. So what type of values are being offered by your competitors. So this is also an important point to be considered while you are working for value propositions, okay? Now value propositions mean that what value you are giving to your customer. So values are product, services or technologies that solve customers problem or that give some value to the customer. So that is something we can easily tell our customer, okay, our product is this and it will give you these feature which may be helpful for you in order to fulfill your needs, okay? So you always try to understand customer, not the manufacturer's perspective, and also try to assess your customer, how they are being offered different types of the values from the different competitors. So by doing this, you are analyzing your customers value propositions also, sorry, your competitors value proposition also. So try to understand that and try to link it with your values, whether you are giving better than them or at least equal to them, okay? So that is how you add or propose value proposition, okay? So there are three major types of the value proposition you can refer into your marketing strategies. The first, list down all the benefits. Do you want to articulate all the customer benefits in the product, or you want to go with the difference point, what and how you are going to create the differentiation, okay? Or you are giving some reasons or methods or logical reason through which you are fulfilling customer needs, okay? Now this type of these marketing strategies are all over, are all around us, and you can see these in different advertisement. If you can see the some advertisement, they will just focus on, okay, okay, this features are of our product, our product will provide you feature A, feature B, feature C, feature D, okay? And some advertisement, they focus on, okay, how our product is different from others or maybe competitors. If you see Samsung and Apple, they always have this type of favorable points of difference, which may be how they are superior in the competition from the Apple and from other competitors, okay? And some, they will give you reasons that why and how you can get the benefits and how our product is explicitly for you and how you are creating value for you. That may be most of the time, if you see in the real estate, these people, they always give you reason, a resonating focus that buy this property, fulfill your need A, fulfill your need B, your kids would be happy there, it is near to school, and all these reasons can be highlighted in your value propositions, okay? So three types of the value proposition which you can use during your market strategy. So you have to think, either you will go to explain all benefit, only favorable points, or go with the reasoning focus, okay? So this is the key decision you can make while you are dealing with the value proposition, okay? Now final point here is the final question you need to answer is how to create or deliver value for your customer. Now right competencies will give you right product, and you should be easily convince your customer to buy this product, because you can create value. So that's why it is important for you to give your customer right competencies, or sorry, right product, and which will come through under the right competencies which are required to produce the specific value which you have already discussed in the previous points. For example, if I want to give people, mm, for example, blind people, a device that can help them or assist them to finding out the way where they want to go. Okay, for that you need to create something. That is my plan. But to create this product, or to develop this product, or to manufacture this product, you need right type of competencies. What type of competencies? Maybe you need people who can do the coding. Maybe you need the people, because blind people, they cannot type. They will mostly they will do command through voice. So voice command, obviously it will come with some software which are able to detect any type of the accent, any type of vocabulary. So that is important. You have to develop that. So in order to develop that, you need right competencies, right technologies and tools. Okay, but you also need appropriate structures and systems. It means that you also need organization structures and systems that can deliver those values. For example, coding department, they need to work with the graphic department, they need to work with other department, and then you have to work with the supply chain, distributors, all these. So you have a complete structure or system that can assist your product uh, to be the best in the market, or the people can find it easily. So there are a lot of systems and structures available or involved in this process that you need to settle. For example, supply chain, for example, your manufacturing process, for example, your delivery, after sales services. All these need to be aligned. Okay, now if this point, you can also refer to the pricing strategy and promotion strategy and distribution, as I mentioned here, because this is how you can deliver your values or your product. Obviously you are delivering value to your customer through your product, and if your customer can find your product easily, it means that you are giving or you are delivering your value easily. But that is dependent on the supply chain, that is dependent on its distribution, pricing, and how you promote your product. So these decisions need to be made. And whether your product is flexible, added feature can be given, or it can be customized based on the customer requirement. So all these flexibility options should be available. Some organization or some manufacturing process or some products, they cannot be flexible because they have low levels of flexibility. For example, floor manufacture, for example, cement manufacturing. So they are working on mass production, so that's why very difficult for them to provide flexibility in terms of customization. But some product they can do it. But there are many other formats of the flexibility which you can offer to your customer in form of after sale services, in form of many other services that you can provide to your customer. So this is how you can best deliver your uh, values to your customer. And values mean the product or services or the features we promised them in the previous stage. Okay, so this is how we can do that. Now we are clear about these 2 points. If I remind you, first is assets and resource competencies, where I talked about the superiority and sustainability. The second one is key to strategic question, answer to key strategic question, which is who are our customer, what is our value proposition, and how we can create and deliver these values to our customer. I hope these 2 points are very clear. Now let's move to the third point, and which is very much important, and this is where your class activity is also there. So selecting the right strategy. Now there are different types of the strategies available for companies to follow for their market strategy, but Mainly these four strategies are product leader, fast followers, customer intimacy, and operational excellence. Let me tell you again. The first one is product leader, second one is fast follower, third one is customer intimacy, and fourth one is operationally excellent. Okay, now let's talk about the product leader. Now the product leaders are those companies or those products which are first or new to the market. The company have introduced these products for the first time in the market, and no other competitor can create or manufacture these competencies or products. Okay, you are the pioneer, you are the prospector, you are the one who are using this for the first time in the market. This is also called prospector. Okay, so you are, your company or you are the one who are introducing this product to the market. That is why it is called product leaders. Okay, now these type of the companies, they are highly efficient and they have high levels of competencies in terms of high tech product. Nobody else can replicate these product or prepare these product before them. For example, Tesla, Apple, they always try to provide new products to the market. Okay, now the second type is fast follower, when, or we call it analyzer. These are the people or the companies who wait for the companies, big companies, to introduce their product in the market. And if the product is successful and they have a lot of demand in the market, then immediately they will introduce their product in the market, which is similar to the product leader. So, but they are not first mover, because first mover comes with a lot of risk. If your product fails, obviously a lot of money will go waste. Now, fast follower, what they do, they analyze the market, they analyze the demand, they analyze whether this company or this product has the demand, and then they introduce their product. Just wait for the first company to introduce and then see whether the demand is there. Then they will analyze the market and then they introduce their product. And then the third one is defender, differentiated defender, or we also call them customer intimacy. So those companies who have a very good customer encirclement, they would go with this option. Okay, so they create a close relationship with the customer. So customer will not buy any other product because they are very happy and satisfied with what company is providing them. So they are happy because all their demands are being fulfilled. So that's why they are not using any other product or services. So these companies, they focus on existing customer and they try to create customer intimacy. They try to create closeness with the customer and defend their existing market share, and mostly focusing on existing customers. Okay, and final type of the customer is low cost leadership or low cost defender. Okay, these are the companies who are operationally excellent. They have very high excellence in operations, low wastage, high efficiency. That is why their cost of operations has been reduced, and that is why they are able to produce low cost products or services. They are called operationally excellent companies. Okay, so the companies which have operational excellence, they have low cost defender, they have producing cost products at the lowest possible cost. Nobody else or no other company can do that. China is using the same model. They have operational excellence. They have all their companies can produce product at very low possible cost. So that is why, because they are operationally accurate, efficient, and that is why they can reduce a lot of cost. Okay, so that is where you have to decide whether the company can have one or more than one strategy, but one strategy would be considered as dominant strategy. Dominant strategy means the company will always follow that strategy, but obviously they can choose more than one strategy, but one should be dominant strategy, where they can say, okay, our marketing strategy is product leader, our marketing strategy is operationally excellent. So these are different types of the strategy from which you can choose any relevant strategy for your organization or your product. But remember, only one can be dominant, but the company can use more than one strategies at the same time. Okay, I hope so this point also clear. So now we are clear about the third point, selecting right strategy. So once you identified your customer, the next is to find right strategy for you. Okay, now the next step is create operational organizational structures and processes. Mean that what type of structures are available: functional and market oriented. Functional, or sometime we have emerging operations also. So let's talk about the functional or hierarchical structure. These are the structure which you always see. Okay, most of the time they have strong rules, centralized decision making, and appropriate low cycle markets. Mean that mostly government organization, they are using this type of structure. Okay, so what we do, we have HR department, we have marketing department, we have production, we have finance department. All these departments are called functional department. Okay, and the people working in these department, they purely work for that particular area of expertise, and that fulfill the departmental needs only. Okay, but at the same time we have market focused structure. These are the companies who are more focused on high tech product. They are more focused on customer needs rather than their own structure, because they are flexible, more appropriate for high tech market. Multi-dimensional focus on the customer, flexibility and speed. That is what I explained in the past. Okay, so they will focus on customer. They will provide product with flexibility, means that the customization may be possible, and also delivery speed would be there. Right in time, flexible, and fulfill needs for the customer. That is the focus of market oriented structure. Okay, shift away from product focus to the customer centered. So functional structure, mostly they are product focused, what they manufacture, but the market focused structure, they are more toward the customer needs, demands, and all which develop from the market. Okay, and they have decentralized decision making process. So means that every department, or maybe every segment, they can decide quickly at their own level, rather than bringing that issue to the top management, and then top management is going to decide. Each unit of the organization, each element of the organization is working independently. Okay, and informal coordination among departments. So they work together, but not very much formal coordination are there in within the department, because formal means that you have to write and you have to take approvals and all this. Informal allow you to work quickly and efficiently within the organization. So department, they are working together very quickly without going through a formal procedures of developing team development and all this. So that is why the market focused structures are more suitable for high tech product, because they can work quickly in informal way. Okay, so these are two different types of the organization structure, which you need to understand which one is best for your organization. Okay, in some cases we prefer functional structure because we have already developed product and procedures, so we use them. But in most of the cases, high tech firm, they use market focused structure, and they more focus on the market rather than their own product or services. Okay, so this is the fourth step. I hope so this fourth step also clear to you, and you understood the point I discuss in this organizational structure and processes. So you have to figure out which structure is suitable for your organization, whether functional or market oriented structure. Functional is very hierarchical and formal structure, and informal structure is market oriented structure, where we focus on customer more than our own organizational structure. Okay, so that is what you need to do. Then the final point, and very important one, we do all this practice, but we do not measure the progress. That is not usable, that is not a wise decision to make. So when we have product, we have employed a complete strategy, the final step would be to assess whether our marketing strategy is working or not. for this reason we use marketing performance matrices. Okay, now market performance matrices are the parameter through which you can assess the marketing performance, and finally you can create marketing dashboard. Dashboard is an application where you can see whether your progress are doing or not, so mean that it is more toward the graphical representation of your performance. Okay, or we can use different software for that. Let's talk about this performance matrices or parameters. For example, if you use this four quadrant or four important point parameters, the first one is related to the product quality or services. Second one is your customer satisfaction, whether this customer satisfaction is created with the customer loyalty, means that translated into customer loyalty. And finally financial results. Let me explain to you first point. So for example, we have low return rate. Return rate, the people are returning your product or services. Okay, customer satisfied, how many percentage of the customers satisfied from your product, percentage of sales from existing customer, and financial results or financial growth. Okay, so for example, you have very low customer rate, we have very high customer satisfaction, and very 50% or more than this customer loyalty, and then it means that it will increase your sales growth. So this is related to sales. Another parameter, it comes on the reject rate, the people who reject your product or services. Okay, so in that case you have to see what type of specific feature the customer are not satisfied. So satisfaction with the specific feature. Then you have to check the relationship of the duration, whether your customers are loyal with you or not. That will increase your market share. Okay, then perceived quality, if your product quality is higher, how many people are having better experience with your your product quality. Okay, so share of market wallet, so how many people are always willing to buy your product, that is your profit growth. Okay, and finally it is related with the time, order of delivery, volume of complaint, sales from referral, the people who are already your customer or loyal customer. So if they refer your product, so how many sales are from there, and it can increase your profit margin. So that is how you should consider measuring the performance of your marketing strategy. So these all are important parameters or important matrices for your sales or for your marketing evaluation. Okay, so you can use these parameters to grow in sales, to share, to enlarge your market share, to grow your profit, or you can increase your profit margin. So this is how you can measure the progress or performance of your marketing strategy. So it is equally important not only just to deploy a good marketing strategy, but also to monitor and measure the progress of that strategy is also important. If not working, then you can shift to another, and then you can create another marketing strategy. Okay, I hope so this is clear. So with the end of this slide, I come to the conclusion. So if you conclude that this is what I taught you in this lecture. So first we have to assess the existing resources and competencies. Resources are tangible or intangible. Competencies mean that how superior are your competencies and how durable or sustainable are your competencies. Okay, so superiority depends on delivering customer value and how much your product or services or competencies are rare. Okay, now the second thing is durability and imitability. This is related to sustainability. If your core competencies are durable and it is very difficult to imitate, it means that your product or services are sustainable and your competencies are sustainable. Once you have these things, the next thing you need to recognize or you need to understand your customer. Who are your customer? What values you are giving to them, and how you are offering those customer, those values to your customer mean that how you are creating and how you are delivering these values and propositions, value proposition to your customer. Okay, how you are going to deliver these added feature to your customers. Okay, now once you are done with your customer, you realize that who are your customer, you identified them, you created the segment. The next step is to identify the right strategy for your market competition. Either you go with the product leader, either you go with the fast follower, either you go with the defender strategy, either you go with the operational excellence. All these opportunities are available, and you have to finalize which one is usable for your purpose. And then from there you can use organizational structure to link your strategy. If you are doing a formal structure, whether it is suitable for your marketing strategy or not. If not, then you can go with the market driven or customer focused, organizational structure that will allow you to reach to your customer more easily. Okay, so that is the next steps. Once you have done these 4 steps, you have employed a complete or comprehensive market strategy for high tech products. Finally, it is important for you to test the progress or check the progress of your marketing strategy. Okay, so this is how we measure the marketing progress using marketing dashboard, which I have already shown you the marketing performance matrices. This can be done online through using different types of the software available for this purpose. Okay, so that is it. I think we have come to the end of this lecture, and you learn all these very clearly. If you have any comments, questions, or misunderstanding, you can type down in the comment box, and I can reply to your questions in the next class. Okay, thank you very much and have a very nice day. But remember, don't forget to upload your class activity, which is on selection of strategy type. You have to select one company for each type of the strategy and explain why you consider this company or this product is using this type of the strategy. Okay, so this should be uploaded before the next week class. Thank you very much, and with this I will end this lecture and have a very nice day. See you in the next lecture. Bye bye.